now. Anytime any of them jump in, he's going to cause a big problem.
Yeah, I agree. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to game number 2. Hikaru Esports, they need to get this to get the clean sweep of Ethereal. If they want to stay in NACT, they're going to have to force a third game in the series by winning this one out. With their composition, we're already seeing some progress, adaptations from Ethereal. Let's see if they're able to withstand the pressure. It looks like Zia's favorite wants to go for that pressure in the early game, losing out in the damage department up against TCC on the Akai. We all know that base damage on the Akai after the revamp. He's been pretty insane, man.
Yeah, I think Ethereal really needs to try to, maybe get Ispingoy ahead a little bit. Phaeton became a very big problem towards the end game. Of course, like, he didn't make any of those flashy plays that TCC played. A little bit of engage over this Little Wanderer, but it will go in the hands of Hikaru there. But as I was saying, yes, Phaeton wasn't like making any super big plays, but first blood on Namikaze. Ezra securing that. That is good. Ethereal this time bringing some early game aggression here, Mirko.
Yeah, this is what we want to see from Ethereal, right? That was what's lacking from their composition in game number 1 from their draft. And that's why I felt like Hikaru had just the better draft overall in game number 1. This time, it's a little bit more fair in that early stage of the game. If Ethereal are able to actually use that early game pressure to gain more advantages on the map, it's going to be huge, right? Chef, particularly on this Daryth in the jungle, is going to be able to dish out so much damage. Just as they say that, he almost takes TCC down. Ziasfev trying to get more on the board by maybe putting some damage onto Phaeton, but Phaeton is still able to get out of that perfect match, and Ethereal will just choose to roam, to rotate over towards the turtle that is spawning in 4 seconds. Bariza, though, goes over the knockout strike 2 times onto Ziasfev. No follow-up as of right now from the other members of Hikaru. Both teams just try to look for this turtle.
And this is what I wanted to see from Ethereal. I want to see a bit more play onto these side lanes. I want to see you actually putting pressure, kind of like what Hikaru was doing to Ethereal last game. But first turtle is up. Bit of an engage here, Mirko.
Yeah, perfect match going to be popped. It's going to get taken down there. That's going to be Bariza with the retribution. Very well placed. Chef gets pinned in the heavy spin. Ezra forced to back away as Ethereal will lose down in the trade. 1 for 0 and the turtle as well. They're going to be able to get so much gold from this mid lane turret and the purple buff on top of that. Hikaru, they know when to punish, and they're so good at making these decisions in the early stage of the game.
Yeah, they definitely, and just like that, it's Hikaru kind of takes this game back into their hands, taking a nice gold lead, 1,300. Hikaru feeling comfortable. I was a little worried about Namikaze here in the early game. He got that early game death. Maybe not as many targets for a Harley as there was in game 1. So I mean, all he can really do is try to focus on Ispingoy here, try to focus on Ash Cutie, because Ezra, Ziasfev, and Chef aren't going to go down that easily. They're not going to be as simple of targets. So wondering if this Harley is going to fit as well into the next game. TCC coming in with the heavy spin, keeping the disengage. At first I thought he was going to try to make a play, but he, like we mentioned, able to get Phaeton away from a bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, you said this, right? You said this in the draft. Akai, not only can he look for crazy engages, pickoffs, but disengages. That's the thing that Akai can provide, more than just engages. And that's where you see it. That's where you see the Atlas. We mentioned this as well in the drafts. Atlas is going to struggle up against so much TC here. Bariza can cancel him out. We can see that TCC can do it as well. And everyone else can just flicker out of the way, right? It's just going to be a tough game for Ziasfev right now. For that Atlas to really find these picks, and especially now Ash QT, he's gonna be very, very vulnerable. That's a Sanguine Claws though, reading it out. Namikaze jumping with the Deadly Magic onto the back lines, and that's gonna be the oh my god, look at the Fatal Links bringing him back, but the damage there will not be enough. It's actually Ezra who gets pinned back into the turret, gets taken down even with the Vengeance and his ultimate on. It's still Hikaru getting an equal trade. Phaeton though getting caught there, getting caught in the perfect match. TCC looking for a re-engage again onto Ash QT. Kagome going for the falling star, we're knocking him in place. Immobility is there, as that's the follow-up from Bariza, who's looking for more on the board. TCC jumping in, Ziasfev caught, but will have the perfect match to disengage, as that is another neutral objective taken away for free for Hikaru Esports.
That is rough for Ethereal, and I think at this point, just from that right there, you get this nice Fatal Links in, but just no real damage to back it up. Ethereal maybe needs to bide a bit more time. Wait till you can get Espangoy involved in this. Wait till Ash Cutie maybe gets a few more stacks before you try to make any huge plays. Yes, you got a nice pick in the early game with Ezra, but that doesn't mean you can act too crazy. You still gotta kind of watch your P's and Q's. I think the only way we're ever really gonna see when it comes down to these big 5v5 clashes later in the game, I think Zia's fave maybe doesn't want to be the initial engage. Maybe let Ezra go in for the bait. Maybe let someone else kind of go in for the bait, catch them off guard, so then Zia's fave can come in and catch Hikaru off guard, right? Because it's going to be so hard to just land a Fatal Link straight on, but a little bit of a concealed play. TCC keeping Ethereal at bay right now and doing such a wonderful job at it.
Yeah, I completely agree with the statement you made. Again, Ethereal, they need to try to bait that heavy spin out on the top side. No, Phaeton going to get caught in the Blazing Duet. TCC going for the heavy spin, almost pinning Ispangoy down as Bariza jumps in to try to follow that up. But Ispangoy, he brought the flicker for a reason. He was able to maneuver himself out of that heavy spin, but Bariza is looking to maybe pressure him under the turret. We'll just go in for that minion in the jungle. He backs off, knowing that Zia's fav is here in that top side to provide backup.
Yeah, Espangoy needs to be careful here. Bariza sitting at 3-0-1 right now. At 6 minutes, I can guarantee that Paquito is packing a strong punch. Has locked in the War Axius. Babe caught off guard. Shredded down from Namikaze there. Hikaru just, even without the Franco, making picks on the map.
Yeah, and you can see Bariza here getting the retribution onto the orange buff. The heavy spin again by TCC. So on point, using it at the right moments as Phaeton just dishes out damage onto Ispangoy under his turret. That's going to be a free turtle. Uncontested once again for Ethereal. They can't really look for this, right? It's another free one for Hikaru Esports. They take it, and Ethereal kind of right now falling behind. They're losing, they're getting picked off in the map, and these neutral objectives also, they're not really able to contest these as of right now in the 7 minutes of the game. But look at that, even Zia's Fab getting taken down by Namikaze. That's a bad sign, right? When Harley can burst your roamer down, can burst your tank down, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, and look at Ash Cutie picking up the Athena's shield as first item just because you're worried about Namikaze, right? So instead of going for like Clock of Destiny or something like that up front, you pick up a nice defensive item. So it's going to take, and this is maybe the reason why, yes, the Sicilian is an early game, but I feel like normally I see a bit more damage from one now, and this is most likely the reason in the mid. Ash Cutie getting focused on by Namikaze, so I guess it is a good thing. Going to be forced to go back to base there. Big thing happening to Chef right now. Heavy spin, and Bariza gets the kill. Namikaze, though, getting picked off in the mid lane as well, Mirko.
Yeah, so much action going on. Look at that. Everywhere on the map. The bottom side, Chef gets taken down. In the mid lane, Namikaze is the one who gets picked off. But again, Hikaru, they're so good at just chaining kills together with objectives. This objective conversion has been the name of the game. That's going to be Ezra who gets pinned once again as Phaeton will be there to provide the damage, provide the follow-up. Bariza now caught in a bad situation. And Zia's Fab look for the re-engage. He jumps in, but he gets cancelled away by TCC. Bariza dodges away from the bad impact. He gets out and Phaeton punishes Ispangoy. It's a disaster for Ethereal as Ash QT will be forced to run away. Sprint ready. Let's take a look at the replay. Oh my goodness.
First you take out Ezra, and then TCC finding this position. Ash Cutie trying to run away. Zia's Fave tries to get the engage, but it immediately gets knocked up from TCC. And time again, we talked about it the whole draft. We talked about it in the beginning of the game. And Hikaru is not disappointing, keeping it textbook, making the plays that matter. Zia's Fave has landed, I think, one more than one man Fatal Links throughout this whole game, and that is going to be a problem if they continue to make these engages the way they are. Is there even an answer for it, honestly, Mirko?
That knockout strike, bro. Like, honestly, let's take the time to appreciate that knockout strike, the way he used it to dodge away from the bad impact. At this point, to answer your question, I don't think Ethereal can really... the way they can win this game is if they turtle, wait for their power spikes in the base. But the thing is, they're going to have to also they're going to have to wait for Hikaru to make a mistake, right? And at this point, it's going to be really tough because Hikaru, they've been playing so disciplinedly, even in these skirmishes, these little skirmishes, they've been playing really well. The decision-making that they've been doing in this game has been phenomenal. And Ethereal, they're going to have to bank on them making a mistake to come back into this game. Because if not, they're just going to siege it, disciplinedly take it, and the gold is just going to keep on growing.
Hikaru must have spent a lot more time practicing than working on that logo. Ezra getting caught off guard once again, maybe a little out of position there. But Hikaru, man, just being so dominant. Blazing Duet comes out, gonna be able to flicker away, but the pressure continues beyond as the Lord comes in onto this inhibitor, Mirko.
Yeah, the logo is a curveball, man. The logo is a curveball, right? You think that they don't care, but it turns out they're really good and they put so much effort. You can already tell, right? They are a prepared team. They came to this prepared in the draft, and look at this Fatal Lace. Dodged away from it, only finds TCC, and that's not the member you want to look for. Namikaze gets a good flank onto Ispangoy, gets him low, down to a quarter of his HP, and that's going to be Bariza free to walk up to the turret to take it down with the help of Kagome. That's base turret number 1 taken down. They're looking for more on the board. Bottom side base turret already at a quarter of its HP. Hikaru, they can just play the long game now. They can just freeze up the waves, look for the Lord, and continue the siege later. Or they could try to look for a gamble, maybe a team fight here to end the game right here, right now. CCC, he goes over the heavy spin, unable to find that wall on Zia's Fab, but let's take a look at the items, Trex.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, as we can see, Hikaru very, very ahead. Esmeralda sitting at 8,000, a whole 3,000 above the XP laner Ezra on the side of Ethereal. Just, I mean, and that's not what you want to be up against an Esmeralda. The rest of the team, Clint also, Berserker's Fury, Malefic Roar, Endless Battle. You have everything you need at this point. He's just really going over the top now, starting to work on this Blade of Despair. Phaeton, once again, just game 1. Again, got a little outshined by TCC, but I still feel like the damage is there. Phaeton definitely just outputting. I also want to focus on Namikaze earlier during that Lord push, right? Namikaze, he didn't get a pick, but the way he came in towards the end of that fight, around the angle, it's like he's always just sitting there. He's not in the midst of these fights, but he has nice positions, always trying to come in from the side and find a weak point in Ethereal, get into that back lane, and it just goes to show the discipline from some of the players on the side of Hikaru right now.
The discipline is key for Hikaru right now, right? They already have the gold lead. They really don't need to push further. They can just freeze up the waves, and they don't need to take any risks. The Lord is free at this point. Look at the map control. Their turrets are still all up. This is just so much map control for them to play with. They can play in the enemy jungle, and Ethereal can't really do much about it. If they face check into their own jungle, they're going to be the ones who get punished, right? And there you go. Like I said, free Lord. They need 4 members to walk up together to pick up a purple buff, and TCC finds the heavy spin as QT gets pinned. He's going to fall with a Fatal Link, brings 3 members into the Blazing Duet, but the combo will not be enough damage. Look at the damage coming through. It's not there at all for Ethereal. Even amidst all of that chaos, it's Phaeton who gets the triple kill. He's again looking for the Maniac. Chef gets bursted down. Ispangoy one-shotted by Maniac, by Phaeton here, who's looking for the Savage. Just one more to find that Savage. They might just go for the end here. Chef, full HP. They're looking. They want to give it to him, and will he get it? The Savage for Phaeton as they end it with a clean sweep, 2-0.
First Savage of the tournament on day 1. Phaeton, I mean, the man just dived into that base unscared, knowing that his items were there. And I was talking about how he's just